Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Washington Nationals March to October, and we are getting started with the second half of Season 3 here today after the draft and last episode, and as you can see, things are not going well. We are running out of time to turn this season around, unexpectedly having a very bad start to the season through 91 games so far. It's telling me I'm in danger. We're currently 8 back in the division. We've been honestly really lucky that the division as a whole has been playing a lot worse than it probably should be. So we're still within realistic distance of catching up and getting ourselves into a spot to make the playoffs. I didn't want to start right in on the game because there were a couple things that I wanted to point out, just some observations I made in between episodes. The first one is, this is just like a microcosm of how the season has gone so far, because look at our lineup screen. Everybody's on fire basically. I mean, all 5 of the top 5 hitters are on fire. Abrams is on fire. But then we go to our pitching, our entire starting rotation has a snowflake symbol. I mean, that is just how this season has been going, which is kind of a shame, because there was a point, I think in the World Series last season, where I was talking about how our starting rotation was one of the things I was most excited about for this team moving through the years, because we have so many young arms that still have room to improve. But now this season, everybody's just struggling all at the same time. I mean, our best ERA out of a starter is Cade Cavalli at 4.59. But something else that I thought of that I don't know how I didn't think of until just now is, you know how we're having all kinds of trouble with our players making errors? Like Luis Garcia has a bunch of errors this year, even though he has pretty solid fielding. Ahmed Rosario has been dealing with all sorts of fielding issues, even though he has silver fielding. We've had Abrams make a bunch of errors throughout the years, but it finally dawned on me where those errors are probably coming from and where the issue stems from. And it's because if you look at all these guys, sure, Luis Garcia has 77 fielding, but he has a 57 arm accuracy. Go to Rosario. He's got a 61 arm accuracy. Abrams has a 50 arm accuracy. So all these guys that have been having error troubles, they're probably mostly throwing errors. And if you think about who we've been throwing out at first base the last 2 seasons, it's been Gavin Sheets, who with the secondary position penalty would be under 50 fielding. Same thing with Meneses, who we've been throwing out there. Josh Bell for parts of this season with pretty bad fielding. So if you take infielders with low arm accuracy, who are probably going to be throwing a lot of balls in the dirt, combine that with first basemen who don't have great fielding ratings to scoop the ball, now it all of a sudden makes sense where all of these errors are coming from. So actually, that's another reason why the Tristan Casas trade was probably even better than we might have realized, because he does have pretty solid fielding. He's 1 rating point away from getting up to a silver badge, so he's going to be way better at scooping balls in the dirt than anybody else we've had will be. The only problem with that is the way that it works out for the rest of this year is he doesn't play first at all. He only starts against righties, and against righties he plays it at third. But I think that's a benefit that we'll see down the road in like season 4 and beyond. And I guess one more thing, we can take some time before we hop into a game here, just because it is pretty much the start of the second half of the season, is we can just take a quick glance at some of our players' stats to this point in the season. But yeah, I mean, our hitting is doing really well. We've got a lot of power. Soto over 20 bombs, Meneses right there. A lot of guys in double digits. I mean, batting averages, to have 5 players batting over 300 as of right now, that's crazy. Couple guys with an over 400 on base and a couple more that are right there. You got 4 OPSs over 900 with Hap right there. Chapman is actually leading the team in walks. He's outdoing Soto right now. Who would have thought that? And then just sort by wins above replacement. I mean, at this point of a season, that is a strong war for a lot of these players. Like even Abrams and Sheets being a platoon player, Abrams also being a platoon player, but also getting called up recently. But the bottom is where it gets really bad. We've known that Alfaro and Lane Thomas have been having very down seasons, especially when both of them were kind of surprises last season with how good they played. But Lane Thomas batting under 200, Alfaro also, but I mean, when you're slugging under 200, there's really some problems. The pitching is not going well. We know this. We kind of already looked at the starters, but this is a bit more of an in-depth look all at once. Just terrible numbers. Everybody's walking too many guys. The whips are way up there. The hits allowed are all a problem. The home runs are a big problem. That might be the biggest problem. Josiah Gray, ever since the start of this series, has had that low home runs per 9, but it's never really affected him a ton. He's already way past the amount of home runs he allowed in the first 2 seasons. Somehow everybody but Mackenzie Gore has a positive wins above replacement. Even Adone with a 6 ERA has a 1 WAR, because all the FIPs are pretty much lower, except for Gray. I think all the FIPs are lower than the ERAs. I don't really know how that's the case. It must just be because everybody's a pretty good strikeout pitcher. The bullpen has been okay. I mean, with the starters being way worse, the bullpen gets a lot more use, like Nick Sandlin. He's already only 12 appearances shy of what he got last season. Jordan Hicks has made more appearances than last season already. Caleb Ferguson has seen a pretty heavy workload here with 32 2/3 innings. He's actually become pretty good. I know he started out pretty slow for us, but down to a 3.03 ERA, only 2 bombs allowed. I feel like he's been doing pretty solid. He also kind of has a walk problem, but who doesn't at this point? And then, yeah, same story with the 2 closing pitchers by position. Efros has actually had a really good year. Sir Anthony Dominguez has had a way better year than it looks like with a 4.15 ERA, but he's 17 for 19 in save opportunities, and he doesn't give up homers, he doesn't give up walks, and he doesn't give up many hits. So, I mean, his FIP is down at 240, but he has an actual ERA of 4.15. So hopefully we'll see some regression to the mean, as they say. But I think we're ready to get into a game here before I get too carried away looking at stats. We got a 2-2 game in extra innings. It's the 10th. Miami's going to have 2 runners on with an out, so if we can get a quick ground ball, have them ground into a double play, and then we can come up with that free runner on second. We have Sir Anthony Dominguez on the mound. It said he had an inning and a 3rd pitch, so that makes me think he might have actually blown this game. No, he didn't. He didn't give up a run in the 9th. What about for us offensively? We have a 2-hit game from Garcia. He also drove in both runs. Snell actually had a good outing. Look at that. 7 innings, 2 runs allowed, only 1 walk. It was Matt Moore who blew the save as the setup guy without giving up a run. So actually Snell must have started the 8th, gave up a base runner, and then handed it over to Moore, and Moore let the run come across. But actually, you know what? They have 3 lefties in a row coming up, and all of them are worse lefty, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Mantiply here. Not going to overextend Sir Anthony Dominguez with 2 on like this. Oh, what a pitch. Look at that spot, dude. Insane. Come on. I still want the grounder, though, but a strikeout would be fine. That's fine, too. That's basically the same as a strikeout here. Nobody's going to advance. It's a big out, actually, because now we kept them where they're at with 2 outs. We got him on the sinker. Good 2 batters from Mantiply, keeps everybody where they're at, and now we should have a free runner on second. All we got to do is bring him around. It's Luis Garcia up, Mr. Clutch, lefty, but that doesn't even matter. We have plenty of speed at 63 on second. No need to go to a bench bat or a bench runner. That's an unfortunate first pitch. Oh, that can't be missed. Yeah, I dropped the PCI so bad there. Oh, man. And then I don't even know how I missed that one. Must have been too early. Yeah, and I was on top of it. All right, another lefty-lefty matchup. Another whiff on a slider. This is not good. All right, at least it's going to move him over, but now there's 2 outs. We need a base hit. It's Meneses, though. Joey Meneses against the lefty. No, okay, yeah, I should have seen that coming. Makes sense. Who's next? We got Tristan Casas, lefty. I'm going to leave him in. This is a big spot for our newest player. I want to see what he does. No, and I got on top of another slider, man. I dropped the PCI once on that pitch, and then every other time I overcompensated. All right, I'm hoping Mantiply can give us a full another inning here. Everybody coming up also worse against lefties. It's exactly what you knew was going to happen with Luis Arraez coming up. Plenty of speed on second. I mean, you just knew. He's going to hit it weak. It's going to find a spot to get down. There's our double play, though. So, I mean, as long as we can keep it to only that free runner coming around, then really we should be able to match that, even though I couldn't get him around last inning. There we go, way out in front of that circle change. Good enough inning from Mantiply. I mean, that run's not really on him. Gotta come through here. They're going to their closer, AJ Puck. He's got a .76 ERA this year. That's not worrying at all. Do I want speed on second, actually, with it being Casas out there? That should be enough speed that a base hit would score him, unless we hit it too hard. That's gonna get caught, isn't it? Oh, that is unfortunate. Oh, I got around on it, man. Too early, and I gotta fix the PCI. We need a big swing, somebody. Oh my God. I'm so close. Look at that swing. Good timing. I don't know how I missed the PCI on that. Put it all together for one swing. Chapman, buddy, you've got big swings in that bat. I know, I've seen it. Oh my... Why, with this whole season, why can I not do anything? It's really starting to grind on me, man. Oh my God. Win a clutch game. Is it that difficult to ask? I mean, that was what we were best at the last 2 seasons, and now we're getting 4 more snowflakes. That's huge negative momentum. It's going to lead to a lot of losses. That was a bad game to lose. We need a quick turnaround here. More than I've ever needed one. Okay, it is only 3. It lied. It lied in a good way. But that's another thing. Like, I've been playing bad. I haven't been winning clutch games, but we have not been getting quick turnarounds. We've had so many games simmed just without momentum. Like, even when we have positive, it just sims until it's depleted and then keeps simming. We need, like, a stretch where we play a couple games in a row so that we can actually build up some. All right, we're signing our draft picks now. I don't know, I always forget what the best strategy is for this. I guess I should probably put my lowest interested players the highest right now. I mean, I can't even offer Rex Daly a contract right now because he's got to get up to 50%, I think. All right, we'll do that because even with only +3 with adding the other 2, that gets Daly up to 50, and then I could at least offer him the contract. And then Alejandro Marte's the next lowest in terms of interest. And you know what? I thought I saw this when I was editing the draft episode, but I didn't notice it while I was playing. But I think I now finally know what the injured doctor exam thing does, which is weird because I had that happen with Estevan Zapata back in the first draft, and I didn't notice any difference. But with Alejandro Marte, we had him, I mean, the same level of scouted, and I think we had his draft rank at 122, but after we picked him with that injured status or whatever, both his potential and overall went down slightly. Like, those windows went down a little bit, and the draft rank dropped. So I'm guessing that's the consequence of picking somebody who's injured, which makes sense. I mean, that to me, that's probably obvious. But we'll go ahead and advance here. There's nothing to do right now. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I could try and sign some people, but actually I could just try and sign this guy because he's only looking for 225, but the lowest I can offer him anyways, 329. I might as well just go ahead and offer this. And yeah, all right, here he is. So we don't need to waste any time worrying about that. Maybe I just go ahead and try and sign this Cabral too, because he's pretty interested and we have him fully scouted anyway. I'll just try and offer him what he's demanding here since it's the first week of it, and he signs. All right, perfect. We actually are gonna have a lot of money left over. We still have 4.5 mil. This dude's asking for about 2, but then everybody else is hardly asking, not even for $1 million combined. We can go ahead and see if we can just go ahead and sign Bruno, offer him the 331 he's asking for, and he signs. And then I think what I'm gonna do, I won't sign these other guys. Not that it matters, because we already drafted him. It doesn't matter if we scout him more, but we'll just go ahead and let it pass another week, and then it can scout him a little bit, build up some more interest. I don't know. It's probably meaningless, but let's go for it. And then let's see how bad the simming gets here. Oh, that's the worst I've ever seen there. Oh no. I don't know if I've ever seen a negative win differential between our actual wins and expected wins. And not only is it negative, but it's minus 11 with a 1.5 star rating for the first half. That actually makes me feel nauseous. We need to go on a tear, and it needs to start as soon as possible. But no, it'll just go ahead and keep simming, use up all the negative momentum it got. Why not? So this Rex guy is asking pretty much as low as we can go anyway. So I'll just go ahead and try and sign him here, bump it up a little bit more. I wouldn't be shocked if he declines with his interest being at like the bare minimum to offer him something, but let's see. And he signs anyway. All right, let's just, I don't know. These guys got a little bit more scouted, but actually, I mean, again, not like it matters because we're going to find out anyway, but a little bit more scouting and Michael Zhang's upper end of the potential didn't go down, which is a very positive sign. But let's just go ahead and see if we can sign these guys. Lowest we can offer him is way above what he's asking for, so he signs. And then we got 1.5 million left to sign our last pick of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant. So let's make him happy a bit. Give him 750,000 or 75,000 more dollars. And there we go. We've signed all of our draft picks. So now we won't see this screen again for the rest of the year. We can just move on. And yeah, I mean, just deplete all that negative momentum. Don't even give me a chance. And then keep simming, because that's what we've been doing all season. This is ridiculous. Let me play. Wow, dude. This is, I don't know. I don't even know what I can say. We just simmed like 3 weeks. And still somehow we're only 9 games back. The Braves have stopped playing amazing. So we only dropped 1 game from them. We're probably worse off in the wild. Oh no, we're still only 7 back of the wild card. Okay. But we're down to 81 projected wins. We've got a game here against the Red Sox where we're winning. So holding on to the win, it's not going to get us a lot of momentum, but it'll prevent a lot of negative. So we definitely have to hold on to this one. We can't afford another big chunk of snowflakes. So let's get into it. Let's see what we've got here. Scott Effross on the mound. Franmil Reyes up at the plate. Man, what happened to him in real life? Effross looks like he's new into the game. No pitches. Oops, I didn't mean to do that yet. I want to see what we're looking like here with 4 runs on the board. We got a couple bombs. It's the Tristan Casas return game also, or one of the return games, and he's drawn a walk and driven in a run. It was another Snell start, and it was actually another solid Snell start. 6 2/3, 3 runs allowed, only 2 walks. So now we gotta keep him where he's at on second base here with Effross. Effross might be like, I don't know, him and Mantiply are probably our 2 best relievers right now. So I feel very confident whenever they're in the game because of swings like that. And then we got him. 3 pitches, 2 whiffs on the slider. That's just what Effross does. All right, they got a lefty on the mound for Meneses leading off. Why am I not obliterating that at 89 miles per hour? That should be what I'm looking for. And he went to it again and I'm late? Do I actually have to like sit down and spend a half an hour practicing before I start playing a episode of this? I never used to have to, but something's different this whole season. And now that it's crunch time, man, I might really want to make sure that I am as ready to go as possible. Like, why am I just taking those 2 pitches and then swinging at that? Even that, well, that was a really good swing. I don't understand how that wasn't hit better. And just like that, we're back to pitching. I'm going to stick with Effross to try and give this one right over to Dominguez to close. Oh, and there we go. Another one on the slider. You can't even take it. All right, weak pop-up. We're there. That's 2. Oh, my God. He just hits his spots. One more here, Effross. We got the weak grounder. Just what an outing. All right, I'm going to bring in Bell to pinch hit instead of having Sheets face a lefty. And I'm going to hit a homer with them on the first pitch. All right. I go from making nothing but terrible swings to all of a sudden a perfect opposite field shot. That's pretty big. Now we have that extra run of insurance. We can just feel that much more comfortable closing it out. Oh, and that I know that was a straight fastball, but that did not look like it to me. I really thought that was a ball. I was convinced. A perfect from Abrams, of course. And that's going to be a base hit. All right, I mean, I've made 2 perfect swings this inning and gotten a couple hits. That one wasn't a great swing, but it's a hit. And then we'll pop it up. All right, well, we got an extra run. We added on to that lead. We got 2 runs to work with to close it out. We got Sir Anthony Dominguez in to close this one. I've enjoyed pitching with him so far every time I've used him, so let's keep that going. And there we go, jammed him with the heat up and in. We got our first out. Another pop-up will get there with Chapman, that's 2. And we're gonna punch out Trevor Story. Another good outing for Dominguez. There's a win, but we seem to really only be able to win these type of games that are not gonna give us much momentum. I mean, we'll take it for what it would have meant if we lost, but only 2 fireballs is not going to be a lot to help right now. I mean, the best way to get a large amount of momentum at once is to win a game that we're losing in to start, but I can't seem to do that. So the next best thing is if we can get a bunch of games in a row, quick turnarounds, that we're either tied or have the lead, and we can just build up momentum that way. But neither thing is happening right now. We're not winning games that we're trailing, and we're not getting many quick turnarounds. We're simming so much. It's gonna flip the momentum. Not a ton to work with there. Maybe 1-2 wins from that. We do win both games against the Red Sox, now to the White Sox. And again, we're just simming games. Let me play. How many times do I have to complain about this? All right, we got some trades coming up though, and this first one is a trade for a player that I had on my my target. 19 years old, B potential catcher, good power, not great fielding behind the dish, but he's got a good arm. Honestly, if neither of these other 2 trades are better, I'm probably gonna do this one, because 2 C potential right fielders with all the outfielders we have coming up, I don't really see the need to hang on to either of these guys, especially this Quinn Brody. I know we just drafted 2 catchers, so to add another one, we're gonna have a lot on the roster next year, but that just means options. So what do the Phillies want to offer us? James McCann. Okay, that's not the kind of catcher I'm really looking for right now. And then the Reds are gonna offer us another catcher option, Matthew Nelson, 26 years old, C potential, 71 overall. He played in the MLB last year, looked like as a backup, but back down in the minors for this year. He's been good in the minors, really good fielding behind the plate, and then just kind of slightly below average hitter across the board. I think the best trade with the highest upside for the future is probably just to go back to this Brewers one. Take Sergio Rosales. Looks like he has a baseline of really good power, and then if the time comes in the future where he gets a fast track that all goes into contact, he'll balance out, he'll move up to an A potential. I like this trade. I mean, there's a reason I put him on my my players to target list. So we're gonna go ahead and make one final trade here, because I think the deadline was basically happening, which is crazy to think that I only played in 2 games and we went from draft day all the way to the trade deadline with the simming. Like, we simmed almost a month. But let's make this trade. Add a pretty good prospect catcher to the system, and there we go. I like the move. And we get another chance to play against Miami here, and looks like the Braves took off a bit, because now we're 1 game further back, even though we played a little bit better in that stretch. I mean, that's how much we simmed though, is our last 10 games are better than the Braves, but you have to go back even further because we dropped down a game. So obviously they have done better in maybe the last 12 or 13. I think I'm gonna go ahead and save this game for the next episode though. I'm way too frustrated to continue playing. I mean, really, I think we did make some progress in getting back over 500. I think we started either 7 or 8 games below, and now we're 6. But that really, I mean, that doesn't help much. We do have a lot of time left, about 50 games, a little over 50 games. But it's really getting down to the point where we have to perform. So as always, guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, do me a favor, hit that like button. It helps a lot. And if you're not subscribed to the channel and you want to, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button right below the video. So guys, thanks for watching today. Thanks for stopping by again, and I will see you in the next one.